Get ready for a journey into brilliance, inspiration, and divine purpose. Join me, Kenyon R. Dudley, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard for Gifted School Live. Hey family, I'm Kenyon R. Dudley, your host, and I'm thrilled to invite you to class each week as we sit down with some of today's brightest minds and teachers. The gifted, the called, the chosen leaders of God across various industries. The truth is, everyone's gifted, but many haven't come into that reality yet. Some can feel it down within their bones, but don't know exactly how to walk fully in the gift God gave them. And there are others living with the idea that their gift is a burden due to pushback in both the spiritual and natural worlds. James 1:17. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. Join us, an exclusive group of gifted seekers, answering the call by God to do great exploits on the earth during these times we're living in. Don't miss out on this transformative experience. Gifted School Live, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Tune in, be inspired, and let the journey into your kingdom purpose begin. Remember, great men and women are born for the time they are needed the most. And beloved, God has need of thee. You are the next gift that's being called to the stage. Will you answer the call? Let me show you how. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to every single one of you who are tuned in right now. Thank you so much for being a part of Gifted School Live. Listen, I'm ecstatic that you're here. Why don't you go ahead and go over in the comment section and say hello, how are you? Let me know that you are here. I see that my wife is here. Hey, baby, how are you? Thank you to everybody who's jumping in right now to be a part of this amazing conversation that we are about to have on this evening. I'm coming live from Dallas, Texas. And listen, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Pastor Kenyon R. Dudley, and I'm some of everything, right? I'm a son of God. I'm a man of God. I love his word. I love the kingdom of God and all things as it pertains to his kingdom. I'm also a creative. I'm also a CEO. My wife and I, we own several different companies. And guess what? But tonight I am simply your host for a conversation that I'm about to have with one of my good brothers. I'm going to introduce him in just a moment. I promise you, you do not want to go anywhere. If you're in your office, if you are in your kitchen, if you're in your truck, your car, riding through traffic, listening, keep this on, because I truly believe that the conversation that we are about to have, it's not going to be above your head, but it's going to be something that you need to be a part of and that you need to hear. Listen, for those of you who have been rocking with me since the very beginning of this series, thank you so much. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for committing to coming on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, listening to these conversations that I've been having with some brilliant individuals. And not only are they brilliant, but they're anointed. They're anointed, they're gifted, they're called. And I've been blessed to have them here on this platform to have discussions of all kinds. We have covered so many different topics since the end of last year when we launched this series. And so tonight is not going to be any different. We're going to be talking about, and I want somebody to put this over in the chat, the creative kingdom. The creative kingdom. Tonight, we're going to be moving into discussion as it pertains to the creative kingdom, the creative aspect of God's world, God's kingdom. And how does that look? As far as his plan being unfolded, as far as his plan being advanced through arts, through entertainment, through media, something, an area that we are touched by and influenced by every single day. I bet you one thing, you've got a phone in your hand right now. And if you don't have a phone in your hand, you're watching this on television. You have put it up on your television screen so that you can see it really good, really big, and really loud in your home. Or guess what? You just got off of a computer, a tablet, or something, right? We are touched by media, by arts, by entertainment in every way possible. And so you have to know that God has a plan to bring his message, to bring his love, to bring his ideas through this mechanism. And I've got somebody good that's going to help me drive this point home. And listen, I want you all, do you know what we do? I want you all to throw those comments over in the comment section. Throw those questions over in the comment section. Be a part of this conversation. It's not just dialogue that you're listening to. It's not just dialogue that you're viewing right now, but it is dialogue that you are a part of. Now, before I bring this man of God on the virtual platform, I want you to do me a favor. Tag, like, and share. Let's get as many people on the live as we can. I know we have quite a few people that watch the replay, but I want us to have a good, significant amount of people that are in this discussion live as we are having it. Why? Because I believe that as we are spontaneously having this conversation, you can jump in and add something in there too that will add value to what we are talking about. Catherine, thank you so much for coming in. Listen, this is a pretty good resume and bio, and usually I do not read the whole thing, but I gotta read it. He's already laughing because listen, I gotta read this bio, so y'all hang tight as I introduce to you who we're gonna have on this platform tonight. He is a creative entrepreneur. He's trailblazing and building stages of impact across the globe. And that is absolutely true. He is an author, an artist, an actor, and he has featured works that have been seen on national platforms such as, listen to this, MTV, BET, Country Music Television, Seacrest Studios, and TV One. His innovative industry skill sets have allotted him the opportunity to hold strategic operating positions with the Recording Academy, otherwise known as the Grammys, the Complex Group, and Broadcast Music Incorporated. That's BMI for those of you all who are my music lovers, you are songwriters and all of that. Robert is a 2023 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award recipient from President Joe Biden himself for his contributions to international workforce development and community service, fueling his philanthropic pursuits. He has donated and collected over, listen to this, guys, 20,000 life essential supplies for children with cancer and student dreamers across the United States. He is the CEO of RG Media Affiliates. And then I'm going to jump down here. I love what he's doing here. He is a developer. Robert is a joint venture partner in a $200 million mixed-use transformational development project located on 67.5 acres, featuring, he's talking my language here, film studios, creative career campus, indoor youth sports facility, retail and residential dwellings, and so much more. Y'all want to know who I'm talking about? I know you do. Y'all, Put your hands together in the chat. Come on, give me some clapping emojis, some fire symbols. And I want y'all to help me welcome my good brother, Robert Gould. Robert!
Hello, what's going on? What's going on?
Now, I just had to go on and read the bio. I had to read it because, first of all, it is absolutely impressive what God is doing through you, how he is using you in these spheres of influence, arts, entertainment, media. But, we can't skate over what's happening in your world. Yes. All right. You're doing a lot of different things. And so I thank you for coming on this live broadcast tonight. How you doing?
Listen, Get to School Live. I'm here. I made it. Listen, yes. I want to tell you, there's probably a few people who you meet and you feel like you've met them, even fewer people that you feel like you've met and you've been impacted by them. And so I love the Dudleys, and I am so incredibly honored and privileged to be here. And Pastor Ken, I think, is a brilliant mind. And so when he asked me to be here, it was no question. I'm ready to show up. So I'm ready to get into the trenches with you and talk to these gifted minds who are watching. Thank you all of my family, my friends who are supporting my network. And so I'm so excited. And I'm excited also to tell you, Pastor Jasmine cuts up. So I'm glad she is not here with us tonight on screen, because I don't think we could get through the conversation if she was on the screen. So thank you for not being here, woman of God.
We're gonna see if she act right in the comment, because she usually acts up in a good way in the comment. Thank you, baby, for being here. I also put up Dr. Nancy Dozier. Thank you so much, Dr. Yes. She connected us, formally connected us. We have been around each other in the sphere of what God has created through her. And so we finally had an opportunity to officially connect. So I got to send a shout out to my sister. Thank you so much, Dr. Nancy, for being on tonight.
My pastor. That's my pastor.
Yes.
Pastor Nancy Joy Dozier. Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Okay, well, she says Jasmine Dudley. They didn't have to go there.
I want them to be right in the comments tonight. Y'all be right.
Exactly. She said, but we need me and the doctor is here.
I love it. Thank you so much, my brother, for that intro. First, please, if you allow me to say that, I'm so honored and so pleased by that. And that blessed me to hear that, you do so many things, and this is the gifted school. And so I want to honor so much of the vision that you have, because there's so many people out here who are providing platforms, but for you to be providing a platform for those who are gifted, for those who see far beyond where they're at. I mean, we should just commend you. Can you all take a second in the comments? I mean, can we go crazy for Pastor Ken right now? How many people, Apple, Microsoft, all the things that we see in our world every day, are we honoring for giving us platforms? But how many thought leaders and provokers of intuition and perspective are providing platforms for gifted people? So listen, I just applaud you today, my brother. This is your show. I'm going to let you have your moment. I'm not going to Kanye you. I'm going to let you have this moment. But before I let you have this moment, my brother, I'm so proud of you and I'm so honored to be here. So just know that. So thank you so much for not just you giving me my flowers, but I want to give you yours, my brother, on this February 13th.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. It means a lot. It means a lot because, and we talked about this briefly, and maybe we can just start here with the conversation. It means a lot what you're saying, because sometimes it is not easy to put your hand in the wind or put your finger in the wind and sense the wind of God and where he's going, especially when it comes to gifted individuals and when it comes to these type of conversations. It could seem like, okay, is this the move? But to hear you say that, first of all, I'm honored. And not only that, it lets me know that we're right on the money.
Yes.
Right. It lets me know that we're doing right, exactly what God has called us to do in this moment, even though it may look unorthodox, it may sound unorthodox. It's actually a part of God's plan and a
Yes.
part of His will. So I appreciate
Yes.
that, man. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's start there
Let's
because
go.
you asked me an interesting question in the virtual green room. You and I both agree we really don't like this question, but you asked, you said, hey, how are you and what's going on in your world?
Yeah.
For those of you who do not know, my wife and I, we uprooted from the Atlanta, Georgia area based on what God said. He said, I have a place for you in Dallas. And we said, okay, all right, let's take the business. Let's take all of these things to Dallas. And we're here. We're working it out and we're doing what God has called us to do. So let's start there. As a gifted individual, I want you to kind of hit on what is God doing right now from your perspective in media, in arts and entertainment. I share with you some of the things that I'm positioning myself to do in the Dallas area. What is God doing? How does this even connect with his plan?
Yeah, it's so interesting because we cannot talk about kingdom in the 21st century without talking about the art form of creativity.
Right.
If we really want to talk about the conceptualization of how the earth started, it started with someone, the ultimate creator, making a decision that there needed to not just be life, but for there to be creative art expression through even our oxygen, through our breath. I mean, scientifically, every time we take a breath, we are a walking piece of art. There is scientific nature that goes into defining that even doctors are perplexed about, how you can close your eyes at night and not have to tap in and your body still wakes up. There's something that can only be defined as divine intervention of God touching your life and giving you something so organic that only he can give to you. And so when we talk about where we're at right now in culture and where we're at in the world, if we don't start by understanding that every single person walking on this earth is a creative, then we have fallen out of the divine alignment of what God has meant for this time. Because as time continues to advance, if God is allowing for time, if we are the ultimate creation of God, and if God is allowing for us to exist every day on earth, then every day you get up, you are an art expression of God's literally reflection to say, I've chosen you, I've created you for this moment of impact. So what are you creating? So the first thing that I would say to the gifted school tonight is that if you are breathing, if you are watching online tonight, you are literally an expression of art for God. You are literally an expression of his kiss every day waking up. So the future of the environment that we are in is more creativity. It is more of what you are going to provide to the world. I do a talk in schools, and a lot of what we do that you've read about, Pastor, is workforce development, and we go into schools and we work with public and private sectors on how to package programming and curriculums for school systems across the country. And I was asked recently, what's the model behind it? And there's an equation that I give all of my students when I go in to do these master classes and these sessions, and it's very simple. And that is create equals success. And I want you to write that in the chat if you're in the chat with us tonight. Create equals success. And if you run that backwards, it's success equals create. Because there is nothing on earth that is able to be produced without first someone creating it. And so for you to go to your next level, some of you are thinking, I'm not a musician, I'm not an artist, I'm not in production, I'm not in media, but you are sheer evidence that God made a decision for you to be successful because you were created. So everything that we transpire here on the physical realm is evidence of somebody having the audacity to create something. So by you creating something, and nobody has been exempt from it, you are ultimately setting yourself up for success. So I'm going back to where my brother wants to take us, which is, where is the kingdom right now in the future? The future is more creativity. because
Right.
we can't successfully win souls. We can't successfully move to the next dimension of where we're supposed to be at as a society if we're not all constantly creating.
Right.
For some of you who are missing that, think of it even as easy as this. Apple was created and
Yeah.
now there's a success. McDonald's was created, a burger, and then launched to success. Target was an idea and a concept, not just off of retail, because we've always had retail. Somebody said, I want to create a brand and experience
Right.
around shopping and monopolize that. You are not exempt in the kingdom from not creating to be successful. So, what is the future like? The future is looking like an immersion of more creatives who
Hmm.
have the ability to dare to create, dare to start, so that you can reach ultimate success. So, that's what it looks like to me. I hope
I,
that I'm diving into something for you there.
no, but this is good because I'm thinking as you're talking about individuals who have companies, ideas, books, films, whatever it is that they have in their heart to birth, to create. But
Mhm.
maybe they've plateaued, or they've hit a moment of warfare, if you will, or a place where they don't really know how to pivot, in order to get this thing out or get this thing to the next level. Now you're a CEO, okay, and you have a media group that you actually lead.
Mhm.
Have you ever been in that type of place where you're like, okay, I don't know exactly how to pivot or how to really tap into my creativity
Mhm.
to bring us up to the next level? Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that? Because maybe someone, they understand what you're saying as far as create. We must always, I love what you said. We should always be creating, right? In order for our future to become our present, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
What happens to that person, that gifted individual who's like, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm all out of ideas,
Mhm.
or how do I pivot? How do I turn this?
Yeah. You know, the hardest thing for people to realize
Yeah.
is not the actualization of the dream, right? Because we can all see the ending, right? Because we've seen it before. We can all see, you know, if I only had the company, if I only had the award, if
Right.
I only had, the skybox view, if I only was on the team, if I only had these clients. We all understand the if I
Right.
only hads. But the truth is, baby, somebody started first with just if I could only make it. And
Mm,
so you will not always have, but you always have the ability to make
mhm.
it through that next step. And the hardest thing I find out for entrepreneurs, and I'm now a third generation entrepreneur, and
Okay.
I come from really a dynasty of folks who could only just make it. And they
Mm,
allowed for their only just make it to the next day, propel them to a space of having. My grandmother, who was from the hills of West Virginia,
yeah.
was a coal miner's daughter from the hills of West Virginia, who basically had barely a high school diploma,
Wow.
who ended up being a single parent of 10 from a
Wow.
military veteran
Mm,
who was faced back up against the wall now with barely a high school diploma. I want this story to bless somebody here. Basically, a high school diploma, was left with 10 children, a single parent, and was trying to figure out what navigation in life looked like. We're
mhm.
talking about in the 60s as an African American woman in the
Yeah.
Midwest.
Wow.
And to most people, that would seem like a moment of darkness.
Mhm.
But she leaned into her moment of darkness and said, God, if you will give me opportunity in the darkness, I may not have all of the know how or the tools around me. But God, I'm going to use the opportunity in the darkness to provide some light somehow.
Yeah.
And so she went into a space where she was able to be this woman with a high school diploma, barely, with 10 children, to providing a college education for all her 10 children, to go on and then be the first African-American woman to own a 100-bed mental health facility and entrepreneur in the state of Ohio. That would go on, that would have the 10 children in the projects, to then have a daughter out of the 10 who ended up being my mother, to go on and went from the projects to the White House, to work in 2 presidential cabinets. I'm not saying this to set this up, Pastor Ken, to be a resume booster for me. But your question is, or my family, your question is, how do you find the light in darkness? And I want to encourage somebody today that you may not have all the tools and the resources, but if you just make it to tomorrow, baby, some of you just need to make it. I wish some people would drop in the chat, just make it. If you can just make it, you've been making it too complicated. You've been making it, I have to have the investor. I have to have, the platform. I have to have. We're looking at a man here today who is just making it. He just made a decision to start a podcast. He's not waiting on a huge endorsement deal that we're calling in. That's going to happen. He just made a decision. I'm just going to make it. I'm not waiting for, the doors of the avenues of the large TV networks to call me. I'm going to just make it tomorrow, create this platform, and I'm going to build it, and they're going to come.
Right.
So some of you who are entrepreneurs, some of you who are dreamers and believers, and then some of you who've allowed for the dream to skip your generation, and now your children have the opportunity to succeed. You got to just make it anointing on them tonight. When you go to sleep tonight and say, we may not have everything that we want, but we're going to make it tomorrow. Pastor Ken, I promise if I need to go somewhere else, but I want to remind some of you who are in the chat about a woman who had the issue of blood. I think prophetically, we don't have all of the history behind this woman in the Bible, Pastor Ken. And I don't profess to be a theologian. Everybody in my family is. They're all pastors. I'm not. But what I do understand about the woman in the Bible, and what I would love to believe, is that she was some type of entrepreneur. Why? Because she had the ability to see beyond where she was at, but she didn't have the resources around her to get what she needed. And so in the process of her receiving her healing, it doesn't ever tell us that she even really believed that once she got to Jesus, that she was going to have everything she needed. But she realized if she just made it to the place where he was, everything would be fulfilled. We also see in the Bible, it doesn't tell us that she knew everything that was going on in her body. But she knew that if she just made it, that something supernatural was going to happen to take her to her next level. So some of you out there, you don't have you're gifted. Let's just be honest. You're gifted, but you don't understand everything that's around you. But if you just make it to that space, if you just make it to the bank, watch the loan officer grant you access. If you just make it to that audition, watch the folks behind the table give you the part. If you just make it, Pastor Ken said him and his wife just picked up and moved. They didn't have all the answers, but they just made it to Dallas. So watch the doors and production companies and construction opportunities open up to them just because they made it. Some of you just need to make it to tomorrow. And I promise you that you're going to see that thing that you're believing God to do open up, not just your gift, but the opportunities that are waiting in the darkness for you. You just got to make it to tomorrow.
Yeah. Y'all put in the chat again. Just make it.
Just make it. Come on, Lisa. I see you in the chat. Just make it. Jasmine, just make it.
Just make it.
Make it. You got to just make it. That's it.
Here's the thing. I think about what you just said pertains to even this podcast. And Jay will tell you, I've never been the guy to wait on somebody. I'm going to say that again. I've never been the guy to wait on somebody. I've always been the guy that you have to catch up with me, because when God shows it to me, I'm going to put my hand to it. And even if it looks crazy, even if it takes time, even if it's frustrating, even if it's tiresome, I'm gonna keep my hand to the plow.
Come on, come on.
And so when you said just make it, my mind immediately went to keep your hand to the plow. Keep your hand to the plow. If you can get up each and every day and do what he said do for the day, you're going to be delivered up to that moment that you've been praying for, that you've been believing him for, that you've
Yes.
been toiling for it and working hard
Yes.
for it, all of these different types of things. Nothing comes easy. Right? I mean, am I right about it?
He just wait. No, listen. It's real. It's real.
Nothing comes
But
easy.
you know, Pastor Ken, though, we live in, and I love it. Nike, somebody literally
Right.
just thought about it, just do it. And as a marketer, as a brand builder myself, I think it's brilliant. It is
Right.
so genius. Whoever came up with that, I pray for things like that to rain on me. Like, that's
Right.
brilliant.
We all want that.
We don't want that oil. But the reality is that we're living in a just do it culture. And it is always about doing. And sometimes you get so caught up in the doing, and failure is a part of the doing, because failure propels you to the making it. But you'll never realize anything that you're supposed to realize if you are so focused on the doing and not enough of the making. That's why I go back to creating. That's why you constantly have to be creating, because there is a law, and the law is, because God is inside of you, you have the ability to claim those things that are for your life. You have the ability, because you are made in his likeness and his image, to claim those things and speak those things. And the law is that those things divinely have to connect themselves to you. Why does it say biblically that so is a man thinketh? For my ladies who are watching, so is a woman thinketh, so are you. Why does it say that biblically? Because God understood when he created you, if I give them, if I give her, if I give Nancy, if I give Ken, if I give Robert the ability to dream it and speak it, then it has to align and come to pass. So the enemy, the opposition to your dream or to your gift, come on, gifted school tonight, the opposition to your gift comes to distract you from your ability to be able to dream it, because it understands that when it stops your ability to dream, when it prolongs you from just getting up and making it, then he can prolong you from where you're supposed to go. So that's why you just got to make it. You just got to make it. I mean, it ain't even no conversation. You ought to just throw your hands up tonight when you go to bed. You know, when you get ready to get in bed, for those of you, we're on the eve of Valentine's Day. Some of you will be waking up to, you know, your loved one tomorrow. You ought to just turn to yourself tonight and say, you know what? I'm just gonna make it. Husband, I'm just gonna make it. Wife, we just gonna make it. I don't know. We don't have everything that, you know, we want right now, but we're gonna make it. And that's gonna be the differentiator.
How imperative, first of all, let me back up. I'm not even going to stay over this moment like we're not having a whole Pentecostal Baptist moment.
Listen.
Right? We're having a whole
I'm trying to act
moment.
right. My pastor told me to act right, Pastor.
Now, let me tell you something. Your pastor know the Dudleys too. We like to have a good time. But let me say this. You're talking about the mind. You're talking about your dream. And you said something that was riveting, I thought, in the virtual green room. You said a gift is larger than a dream. Talk a little bit about that. Can you dive into that revelation? A gift is bigger than the dream. It's higher than a dream. And the importance of protecting that gift at all costs. So, and let me just, before you say that, when you said it, I immediately thought about what you just spoke about when you talked about the mind and you talked about the dreams being in the mind. When you said that, I immediately thought God doesn't just give us dreams in our sleep or in our everyday life. We're just walking and he drops a dream in our head. He doesn't just give us a dream. What he's actually giving us is a gift. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Why you do me like that? How you gonna do me like that? Can you talk about that? Oh my gosh. Listen. You know, I'm gonna try not to get emotional talking about this tonight. because this is hitting home so close for me right now, for me and my team, what we're in preparation for. I want to kind of connect it a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, and next month, I started a movement, and it's called the Big Tide, and meeting this need of workforce development. But we don't look at workforce development as talking about just careers.
Okay.
We look at how do we expose the gifting of a lot of marginalized rural region dreamers who are in
Okay.
high school, who, if only somebody saw their gift and exposed their gift, they would understand that the gift has just granted them access to a whole life trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm full right now. I'm so full because I've been in that world all day talking to school systems and superintendents and
Yeah.
presidents of school boards and talking it. And I don't charge 1 cent to any student. And I started this, and we had 20. We started with the incubator of 20. We grew the next year to 200. And this is only our 3rd year. No heavy promotion. We're not backed by any national corporate sponsor yet.
Yeah.
And this year we're at almost a waiting list of 2,000 plus students from 7 counties across the Southeast who will come to a convention center in Savannah next month called the Big Tide. But I say this, I'm so emotional, and that's our slogan is go big.
Go
But I'm
big.
saying this because some of you need to understand tonight that your gifting is waiting on you to go big. It is waiting on you to understand that a gift is just an opportunity, that your dream is just an opportunity for your gift to be seen. And you're so frustrated because you're like, nobody sees my dream. Nobody sees where I'm at. Nobody understands. If they can only see and comprehend that I'm 70 and I'm still dreaming. If they can only comprehend that I've been through divorce so many times, how can I afford a dream to be actualized? If the world would only comprehend that I'm coming from a single parent household, or that, I've been abused, or some of you have been molested of your ability to even dream. If the world would only understand who I am, then I could actualize, I could step in the fulfillment of the world seeing me. But I want to let you know tonight that your dream doesn't give you access to your destiny. It is
Mm.
your gift that grants you an anointing. It is your gift that grants you access to every door that is waiting on you. It is your gift that is opening up that seat that you want at the table. It is your gift tonight that's unlocking the next level vision on the inside of you. So tonight, if you would let go of your dream for a second, if you would just tap into the gifting over your life, you would realize that there has not been a limitation on you. There's been a limitation on your ability to see where you're supposed to be. And if tonight you would relinquish yourself, you gotta in your own privacy, whether you're driving, if you're at home, if you're at school, wherever you are, my friends, my gifted school, I want you to take a second. Pastor Ken, if we can go there for a second, I want you to take a second and put your hand over your heart and say, self, I release you of your dream. Say that. I release myself of my dream, and I open up the walls of the capacity of my gift. I open up the walls of the capacity of the gift of the anointing that you put on me. I open up the capacity of my mind to understand my gift. I open up the capacity of my heart to welcome my gift. I open up the capacity of my feet to walk into my gift, because your dream is stopping you from actualizing that. If you would dare to tap into your gift, baby, your dream would be no concern, because your gift makes room for you. The Bible says that your gift makes room for you. It didn't say that the dream makes room for you, because you see, your dream will limit the access for where you're supposed to be in the world. That's why some of you are in your 70s, your 50s, your 40s, your 30s, trying to figure out which way I'm supposed to go. And you're frustrated because you're waiting for the dream to open a door. But biblically, it's a biblical principle. It is a law, Pastor Ken, that not your dream, but your gift. So listen, let's wheel it back in for a second. Let's talk about then, how do I tap into my gift? How do I allow for my gifts to make room for me? First, you have to make room for them. Your
Mm.
will make room for you when you make room for them. I wish we had a couple of people that would drop in the chat, make room for the gift. You have a gift. We all scientifically, and when I speak about science, I'm speaking about it only in one way, and that is the Holy Ghost divine manner of, because science is a gift from God. It is his gift to us to allow us to see in the physical realm how divinely we are made up. And so I want you to understand that your DNA is the gift. That is what God has granted you. Your assignment then is to figure out, how do I walk through my DNA here on earth to actualize the gift of what God has given me? So what you have to do is, in order for you to make room for the gift, first step is make room in order for you to understand the gift is to make room for the gift. And the first step in that is you got to clear the area for preparation.
Yeah.
So many times we pray for things that we are not prepared to handle. And so you have to first start making those steps to make sure that the structure that is around you equals where you're trying to go. So many times people talk to me, Pastor Ken, and they say, you're only 30. I turned 30 in October. And a lot of people say, and I've even had to take a step back at myself, I'm a lifetime presidential achievement recipient. I've worked for the largest entertainment publishing and performing rights organization in the world.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. And to some, definitely, if you ask them, who's Robert Gould, they'll say, I don't know. But what I understand is the reason why I have the accolades is not because I'm waiting on access for someone else to put me in the room. Right. It is because I have decided that I'm drawing down on the anointing of that coal miner's daughter who I talked about earlier, who had the ability to understand that it's not about your name physically here in the earth. It's about what is your name in heaven. And if you tonight would align yourself, I want you to do me a favor, because some of you still are caught up in this idea, but you're saying, Robert, you're a developer in a multi, a transformational community, 65 acres, and you're building a sound stage and a studio, and you're only 30. How are you doing these things? I want you to know, and openly, publicly saying that I've been able to do these things because of strategic alignment to partnerships, strategic alignment to networks, and also the ability to understand that I've been able to capitalize on my relationships that have put me in position to win.
Right.
So you have to get out of this box of you staying in the house. Don't tell me you want to be a CEO and you're in your house every week. It doesn't work. Even in a post-pandemic space, you got to start building relationships with people. Yes. You got to start building networks with people. That's how you start. Your bank account, I want to be honest, God has blessed me tremendously to have clients that pay me tremendously by the minute for what I do. But you may not be on this school right now live and be in that same position. And you might be asking, what is the pathway for success? It first starts with some relationship, because there is some nonprofit, there is some entity, there is some other company, there's some small business, there is some a person that needs your gift for what you can supply to begin a relationship. If I can give you this note, in making room for your gift, maybe first you want to start out by taking inventory of the people that are around you. You want to talk about, well, how do I utilize my gift? You first need to understand. Thank you. Somebody said your network is your network. That's so important. You need to first understand a gift is something that you give to someone. How are you going to know how to give something to me if you don't know what I need? You need to take strategic inventory of the people, of the environment around you to know what it needs. So in making room for the gift, take inventory of your environment. Somebody should drop that in the chat. That's noteworthy. Take inventory of your environment so that you can understand and supply the environment, not what you want, but what it needs.
No.
I'm going someplace. I
need to just keep going. Don't stop, because you're giving gems, you're giving kingdom nuggets that we all need to hear. Some need to be reminded. Some need to learn this for the first
Yes.
time tonight. Thank you, Jay, for putting that up on the screen. Take inventory of your environment. Now, I was just thinking about this maybe a few days ago because I'm always in reflection. I was just thinking about some of the things that I even personally, my personal brand that I even offer. And I said, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on a sabbatical. I'm going to pull back in a way, and I'm going to shift some things because I took inventory of the atmospheres and the environment in which God has planted me. What you just said is so key. I don't want anyone to miss that. You're probably in a situation right now because God trusted you to be there.
Yes.
Not for you to complain, not for you to fall out and say, Lord, how am I going to make it through? How am I going to get? I don't know how I'm going to do. God puts you in certain places. And most of the time, if you know God, the nature of who he is, he'll put you in a place where it looks like it's just stones and sticks and
Come
dirt.
on.
And then he'll say, then he'll say, I need you to tap into the gift I gave you to build the technology of an ark. Right? And so what you just said is so key. I don't want you to stop. I want you in this moment. Gosh, this hour goes by so quick. What in the world? I need you, I need you to keep going because I believe there's something else that God wants to release out of you. You were talking about one of the first things that people can do in order to make room for their gift, so that their gift can in turn make room for them, is take inventory of your environment.
Yes.
Where are you right now? Who are you around? Who are you connected to? What city are you in? Location, geographical environment. It needs to be industrial environment. What industry are you being led in? All of these things. Are there some other things just right off the top of your head from the Spirit? Are there some other things that our students need to be looking out for or paying attention to in order to make sure that their gift begins to make room for them?
Room for them. Yeah. It's so important. And let's be a little bit more tangible because I love practical teaching. And I want you to walk away not feeling like you just had an experience, but I want you to walk away tomorrow morning with the steps of changing your life. Because every time you get up, it's an opportunity to change your life. If you have not changed your life today, you've wasted it. And the changing of your life is not about always having so many monumental accomplishments. Sometimes we look for these huge monumental accomplishments and then we fail at life every day because we don't realize you've achieved something by just getting up and making a decision that you're going to be the 1% better than you were yesterday. And that's where you have to start. So taking inventory is so important. And so you have to understand with the tangible component of that, let's talk about that just for 5 seconds here. When we take inventory of our life, it's not just about looking around us. The first step, of course, is looking. And taking inventory, you definitely want to look around you so you can see where are the missing spaces. In the brand development in corporate space, we often call it a SWOT, a strength, a weakness, an opportunity, a threat test. And we do these for companies because we want to see where's your strength, where's your weakness, but then where's the most opportunity. And then also in opportunity, you have to evaluate where is the greatest threat. Because you want to be armed with the ability to not just be active, but proactive in looking after the brand of you. So when we're talking about making room for our gift, looking at our environment, we have to not just look around us at the people, which is important, but you got to look at the trends. Can we talk a little high level? Because I want you to really, and even if you don't understand these things, I want you to write them down because I promise you, Google is the best friend on earth. And so if you Google a trend, I promise you it's going to bring you something. So if you Google a trend is something that is set in action. And so we all geographically, I love Pastor Ken was there, laid a foundation for us to understand we all live geographically somewhere. Some of you may not understand, well, what is the opportunity for me to use my gift? First, wake up tomorrow and Google Atlanta, Google Chicago, Google LA, Google, some of you are watching in Tokyo. Thank you so much. Google Tokyo. And I want you to look at the trends that are around you.
Yeah.
And things will begin to pop up. They're going to pop up whether they're in industrial, whether they're in economic development, whether they're in the healthcare system. You have to understand the trends are around you, because then those things will lead to saying, well, these things are the things that are around me, but here are the things that I know that I'm good at. And those things will open up opportunity to say, maybe I need to start this. Maybe I need to find someone who can mentor me in this. Maybe I need to lean towards this area. So understanding trends are so important. Let me bring this last point in, because I talked about mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And some of you gifted individuals, some of you dreamers, but you're walking away from here not a dreamer any longer. You are someone who is a gifted leader. Some of you get caught up because you say, I don't have the resemblance or reflection of someone to mentor me in that space that I feel that I'm gifted in. I want to encourage you to understand that gifts are not just sometimes what you can see. Sometimes you have to discover gifts. Sometimes, innately as a Christian, as a believer, God has blessed you with an intuition, and you may not be aligned with the same thing as someone else, but you may say, hey, there's something that I love about this person that they do well. I love that they're always organized. I love that they always speak very well. I love that they are, always asking questions that seem to need to be asked. Those are the people, my gifted school students, that you should say, I want a cup of coffee with you. I want to take you for lunch. I want to, have a dinner with you. Can I cook for you? These are the things that open up those moments of opportunity. And those things, you got to believe in yourself enough to say, God, if your curiosity inside of me is leaning towards those things, there's something there that I need to discover. And you'll discover a whole platform of gifts that will open up doors for you that you would never imagine. Let me encourage you with my story right quick. I at 21 at the time, had graduated from Berklee College of Music. Come on, Berklee, if you're in the building. Just happened to be, in the Super Bowl. I saw my Berklee fam. Let me shout them out. An incredible place. I was blessed to be a full ride scholarship recipient. And as an African American, a lot of who share in that experience will understand that is very rare. But I attended the school, and at graduating as a college student, I walked across the stage and I never had to search for a job. My first job was being an executive at the largest performing rights organization in the world. And the bond that I created the year before as a student, as an intern, led me to a relationship with one of the senior vice presidents of the company, who, when I graduated from college, said, listen, you are creative. You have been gifted, but your gift now has to be in a space that is going to literally launch you to your next level. And so you could go, and my plan at the time was to go to London and pursue music and go to the UK. And she said, you could do that, and you are gifted enough to do it, but your gift will not be maximized, because God is giving you such a unique ability at a young age where you need to be in management and quickly. And I didn't understand what that meant at the moment. And I came home and I was talking to my mom about it. And, I've been so blessed with a single parent who has done incredible things. She said, listen, whatever you want to do, you're going to succeed at it, because there's no competition for the anointing. But she encouraged me to challenge my gift. She said, you can go and become an artist in the UK. But how many times is your gift going to allow you to say that you've been an executive at 21 at this level, making this much amount of money? And I had to take inventory of my environment and say, how many people are in this certain predicament and can supply what I supply to the environment and give it what it needs? And so my David moment, I hope this is connecting with somebody. My outward resume of just being a college student, of just being a young man from Atlanta, of just being a creative, became the actual thing that they needed that they didn't have in an executive at the time. And
Mhm.
because of my ability to serve, because of my ability to go get the vice president coffee the year before, because of my ability to do the things and figure out what presentation she was going to have to make, and even sometimes stepping even over her assistant to say, how can I assist the assistant in getting to where you need to go,
Right.
created an opportunity for me that launched me into a whole nother level. So I wanted to visually paint that picture for my gifted school tonight to understand some of you are sitting and waiting for the opportunity to actualize your gift.
Yeah.
But the gift is waiting on you to actualize your environment, to
Mm.
actualize the things that are around you for you to tap into. I know I'm close to time, Pastor Ken.
I love what you're saying. I want to make sure that we are getting this. So there is power in the gift, but there is also power in activating the soil around the gift, because
Yes,
the gift is a seed, right?
yes,
The gift is what he has planted in our heart, in our mind, in our spirit, in our being, right? And not only has he planted it in there, but then he planted us in a geographical location. He planted
yes,
us in a city, in a
yes,
state. Then not only that, he planted us in a community, a family. He
yes.
planted us in an industry. The greater question right now for everybody, it does not matter your age. I heard that in the spirit. Again, I need to stress this. This talk is not just for people in their 20s and 30s.
Woo.
This talk is not just for folks in their 40s. This talk is for people who are alive. If
Come
you
on.
are breathing, if you are breathing, God's speaking to you right now through this young man. I'm telling you, God's giving you some wisdom. Think about it. Think about it. What environments are you in? The prayer should be right now, even as we're talking. The prayer should be, God, give me the authority and the strategy to activate the soil around me. I
Woo.
felt I felt that.
Woo.
Man, I felt that. Wow.
Jesus.
I will say it again. It should be, God, give me the authority, because you cannot do anything without the authority.
Come on.
You must have the authority.
Woo.
God, I could not break open, and let me just get real here. I
Come
could
on,
not
Pastor.
break open and break open what me and Jay are breaking open here in the Dallas market without authority. You've got to have authority. So the prayer should be, God, give me the authority and then give me the strategy to activate the soil around me, to activate my family, to activate my friends, to activate my coworker, to activate my mentor or the people who can be a mentor for me, to activate my city, the city where I am, the officials that I need to be connected to activate those relationships. There are things around you that will push the gift to another dimension of,
Woo.
I'm going to use your word, Robert, actualization.
Yes.
Actualization, realization.
Yes.
But there's an authority. Man, can I just say this for a moment? Can I
Woo.
just say this for a moment? Can I just say this for a moment? God's giving everybody on this live. This thing took a whole nother turn. Wow. God's giving it. Come on, even starting with us. I just heard God say, He said, "You tell Robert, you and Robert are not exempt." He said,
Jesus.
God said, "I'm giving you a greater level of authority
Jesus.
to activate the soil around you."
Around you.
And so, as some of you guys are going to go to sleep tonight, man, this is taking a turn. Um, some of you are going to even go to sleep tonight and begin to see strategies that you don't even know what to do with. You're going to have to wake
Jesus.
up and you're going to have to literally be led by the Holy Spirit to go to somebody, call somebody and say, look, I got a strategy. I don't even know what this means. Tell me what this means so that I can actually use this strategy. God is saying to somebody, not only have I given you the seed of a gift, now I'm about to give you the authority to activate soil.
Woof.
to activate atmosphere, to activate environment. Robert, you did. Come on.
Jesus.
Yeah, you started something tonight.
Listen, I know we're at time, but Pastor Ken, I don't think we can look over that moment though. If you oblige, the reality is so many of us don't bloom. We don't actualize the trajectory of our tree, of the fulfillment, of the wideness, of the gift that we are supposed to be to the world, because the soil that we plant your dreams in, the soil that you plant your plans in, has not been activated. It hasn't been activated.
Yeah.
Every farmer knows that you can't yield a harvest or a crop without activating, turning, milling, laying the proper foundation of what's supposed to be there. So your dreams become void, not because they're not possible, but because they haven't been planted correctly. Some of you are not planning your dreams correctly. So you can't even give, the proper authority to get up and take the action steps daily to making your dreams reality, because you haven't activated the dream properly. You haven't activated the gift properly. You haven't set charge to that thing properly. You're running on a battery on 0, and you could be occupying a space of 100 only if you literally activated the soil around you. My God, Pastor Ken, why are you trying to play us like that, man? Don't play us like that tonight. Come on, some of you are staying stagnant only because you haven't made a decision to activate what God has already given you the authority to do. You getting up you getting up every morning is pure evidence that God is activating the gift on the inside of you. If you would dare to get out of yourself and step into the actualization of the authority that God has given you, then you would see every single thing that you want manifest take up and take flight tomorrow morning. My God, I feel that thing, Pastor Ken.
I'm gonna jump right here and say this. I gotta say this. Mark 4:20. Put it there, y'all. Drop it here. Now, what are we talking about? For those of you who just jumped in, we've been talking all night about God's creative kingdom, the power of creativity. Right, the power of creativity to be able to advance and to establish God's kingdom, and He does it in various different ways through our gifts. He does it in various ways through our gifts. But Mark 4:20, bro, I want to say this. Let me read this version. It's the HCSB version. I love it. It says, "They hear the message, accept it, and bear fruit." Psalm 30, Psalm 60, and Psalm 100 fold. What God is saying tonight is that He is one of the ways that He's about to activate your soil, your environment around you, in order to get that gift to another level of activation. One way He's about to do it, you're about to start hearing things that you've never heard, teachings that you've never heard. You're about to start getting around conversations that you never, ever, ever have been around before. And at first, you're gonna feel like this is out of my league. I'm talking to somebody on here. You're gonna feel like this is out of my league. This is something that's brand new. But if you would stay planted at the table, if you would stay planted in the networking room, if you would stay planted on that phone call, if you would stay planted in that mentorship, whatever it is, whichever mechanism that hearing is going to be activated for you, if you would just stay there, God's going to begin to produce another level of your gift that you have never seen.
Never.
God's going to produce another level. Whose word is that tonight? Put it in the chat. That's for me. We're about to bring this to a close. I'm not gonna hold the man. I know.
Oh my gosh,
I know you're at the office, bro. I don't want to hold you any other time.
No.
I'm gonna have you back though.
Listen, I'm coming back. We're gonna do something live. I feel it. We have to do something live. Yes.
Pray. Listen, I'm putting this
Yes.
out here because we're actually working on a spot. I'm only those who are on this live know this, but we're actually working on a spot for Jay and I to begin to produce some things at a higher level here. And so pray as we activate our soil, as
It
we
is
activate our
done.
soil,
It is
for us to be able to walk in that opportunity. I'm going to use your word. uh,
yes.
that we may be able to walk in that opportunity, because I need to do some live stuff. I need to do
Yes.
some live stuff. So, listen, Robert, this is what I want to do. I want you to give the final word for tonight. I want you to declare, decree, whatever God is putting on your heart to just say, to seal this, to wrap this up for
Yes.
those who are in the gifted school tonight.
Wow. Thank you
Wow.
all so wow. Yeah, first I got to start out with the wow. Um, I want to thank so much, Pastor Ken, and I'm standing in agreement. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what the gifted school is going to be
Mhm.
to the world. I believe that internationally, there are people who've been watching and standing in your corner, who've been watching and standing in Pastor Jasmine's corner, who have not audibly said it, but on tonight, I decree and declare that it's going to be a change in their soil, and they're going to wake up with you on their mind, and they are going to say, we need programming from the Dudleys. And it is so. And it won't be just here, but it will be an international stage that God will launch you all to. So I decree and I declare it, and I believe that that is so. My gifted school family, listen, I want you to understand tonight, if you didn't get anything else, that not only are you a gift, but you've been granted every moment you get up, you've been granted with the ability and sheer evidence from God that you are his greatest gift. And so some of you who are sitting at home and trying to figure out, who am I? What is the purpose? What is the plan? I failed so many times. I've tried every door, every financial door, every physical, every relationship, everything that I have tried has literally put walls up against the opportunities that I believed would propel my gift to the next level. I want you to know that tonight, Pastor Ken has already said that your soil is being activated different. I want you to know that you're going to grow different, that you're going to speak different, that you're going to walk different. In the tables that you're begging to be at, they started out as wood. And that tree that built the table is literally being bloomed and is being planted tonight in such a different way, so that you'll understand that not only is it time for you to pull up a seat to the table, but that in this mode of preparation, you are being defined so that people will sit at your feet, that people will pull up to your idea, that people will pull up to your vision, that people will pull up to your situation, that people will not just pull up a seat just to hear and listen, but they will be active participants in your boardroom that only has your name on it, that only has your authorized ability to decree and declare the deals that are supposed to be there, and that they shall come to pass tonight. I want to relinquish those ideas of doubt and fear. I want to break them off of you. I want to relinquish the thought and the idea that it's not going to happen because you didn't have access to a multimillionaire or billionaire. Baby, I want you to know tonight that the gift that's on the inside of you is not just birthing billions, but it's changing generations. It's changing nations. And you don't have to have the finances in your bank account right now to see it. All you have to do is tap into the soil that's been planted around you to understand that the access has already been granted to you. Access has not been denied, but access has been granted. Those of you tonight in closing who are saying you may have received a notice financially, you may have received a notice on your job, you may have received a notice from the school to say your child has been acting up, and they are saying access denied. But the last thing I want to leave planted in your soil tonight, that access has been granted. Access has been granted to your next level. Access has been granted to your next idea. Access has been granted to the next level of entrepreneurship or gift on the inside of you. And because you've connected with the ultimate authority, a signature, because you've connected with your DNA tonight, there is an open, effectual door for you that no man will ever be able to shut because of the soil that you are planted in. So tonight, you be encouraged, Gifted Live, that your gifts are not only making room for you, but you are making room for your gift for God to do exactly what he wants to do for you. I love y'all so much. Thank you, Pastor Ken, for this moment. And he didn't ask me to do this, but I want you to do me a favor tonight. And I promise you, he didn't ask me to do this. And I told y'all, I don't wear a collar every day. God's anointing over me is to be in boardrooms and promote and push corporations and public and private entities across the country. But I understand that my ability to stand where I'm standing is because I have had the ability to understand the seeds that I plant are producing the harvest that I walk into. I'm walking into multi-million-dollar rooms every day, not because I was born a multimillionaire. I sit at tables and handle and broker deals, and I've worked at billion-dollar companies, not because I've always had it in my bank account, but I've been fortunate to gain those clients, gain multi-million-dollar clients, gain my first huge contracts because of the principle of sowing. And so if you have tonight the ability, he's offering this free of us tonight. I want you to know I get paid to do this. And this is for you who are watching, not to my brother, not to my sister, but I'm here tonight sowing my time. But not only am I going to sow my time, I'm going to sow a seed to the Dudleys tonight because I believe in the Gifted Live movement. I believe in what they're doing. I believe in their ability to see far beyond where they're at and touch into the gifts of who you are. And so tonight, I want some of you to join me. And Pastor, he'll let you know the way that you can do it. He's not asking for it. I'm sure he's embarrassed by it because most leaders are. But I want to put the spotlight on him because tonight we are to plant a seed, not just for the Dudleys, but by us prophetically planting a seed for the Dudleys, we're going to plant a seed for our dreams. We're going to plant a seed for our gifts. For those who are really seeking for God to do a crazy thing, and Pastor, I know I'm over time, but if you allow me, I'm believing God for something so crazy, y'all. I literally am in a region, in a coastal region, where African Americans have been enslaved for years. And we are just seeing the fruit of some of our leadership from a regional perspective, look in different shades and in colors and diversities. And I, as a young African-American entrepreneur, am putting together a movement that will yield over thousands, 2,000 incredible dreamers are going to gather next month. No big promotion, no large corporate sponsor, just people who believe in my gift and believe in my ability to activate the gift in others who are putting this to flight. And these are dreamers who are coming from impoverished areas, in areas that you wouldn't believe, where dreams are not able for them to even, you want to talk about your next day waking up. They're worried about, can they go to sleep at night? But we're putting them in this incubator. And it's all because I have planted the seeds. So tonight I want to encourage you to grab your best seed. It's not a number. This ain't a line. This ain't $100 line, $200, $300. This ain't a $50 line. This is that seed that is going to be shifting the soil. Everybody's shift is different. I know what I'm going to sow because my shift is different. But I want you to plant a seed that's going to shift the difference in your life tonight. And believe God that that seed that you sow, no matter how big or how small it is in somebody else's eye, is going to be the differentiator to unlock the gifting to take you to your next level.
Wow. Wow.
So we got to do it, fam. We got to do it. This is not a show. I know we're 15 minutes over, but I want you to do it. Come on, and I don't want the numbers. I don't want to see y'all dropping off. I want to see y'all going in to gift, because again, we can't expect for gifts to be unlocked without us first being a gift. God gave his greatest gift so that we could have the ultimate gift. So I want you just to grab your best seed. It's not hard. Grab that seed that God is speaking to you tonight. Some of you are watching. Some of you will watch this replay who've been blessed. And some of you who have been, even I hear the Spirit of the Lord saying, some of you have been watching for weeks and have been partaking. And this is your sign tonight to sow a seed. Sow a seed for the notes that you've been taking. Don't be familiar. Some of you who are even family members, don't be too familiar with the anointing that's on this man of God to not sow a gift tonight, because the seed that you sow tonight, I hear the Spirit of the Lord saying the seed that you sow tonight will unlock the gift for the morning. It's going to unlock the gift. Literally, you're going to see a 24-hour shift happen. I promise you, you're going to see it. I'm sorry, bro. I just want to be okay.
No. Hey, I wish I could express to you and to those who are on the live the prayer that me and my wife walked around in our home office and prayed today. And we'll testify about it soon, but this was unexpected. But this is more of just a confirmation that God heard us.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It is so. It is so. I love y'all, fam. I love y'all. I love y'all. It is so.
I gotta get my brother off. I love every one of you all. Thank y'all for being on this live. Thank y'all for following. Those of you who've been a part of this series every night that we come on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. We're gonna do the same thing next Tuesday. Y'all be here. Listen, if y'all were blessed by this gift that's on this live with me tonight, Robert Gould, y'all give me some fire symbols, some fire emojis. That's going to seal the deal for me. Jasmine, yeah, she said this is God's response. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
For those of you who are giving, I thank you. You all know that we don't come live and do this often, but I do respect the word of the Lord in this moment, and I thank you, Robert, for hearing the Lord. Man. Okay, so I'm saying this out loud now, Robert. You coming back?
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, we got to do some live stuff and all that other stuff.
Yes, we will.
It will be so. It will be so. Listen, I love y'all with the love of Jesus Christ. Hey, safe travels getting home, bro. We will talk. To all of you, join me again next Tuesday. I got another riveting conversation with another brother of mine. And you're gonna need this for your business. Those of you who are entrepreneurs and business owners, you're gonna need this. So tune in next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God bless you.